Hi and welcome back. So we got our servers up and running, and as you can see I have two Docker servers. I've already set up this whole architecture, and I use this Docker server as for testing and to do other projects. So I created another Docker server here specifically for this project. So we're gonna set up Docker and Ansible, and best practice is to actually use key-based authentication, but I wanted to try to do something different. I do login based. Again, this is not up to standards, but for this video, that's what we're gonna do. So let's get into our Docker server and let's go set this up. Okay, then we're gonna open GitHub, or Git bash, sorry. Let's go cd into downloads because this is where my key is stored. And we're gonna go yes. Okay. Admin. Okay. So let's clear the screen. We're gonna go into sudo privileges. And the first thing we're gonna do is that in our Docker server and our Ansible server, we need to create this user we're gonna use to log in from our Ansible control node to Docker, which is going to be our manage node. Okay, so let's go ahead and add a Docker user. So we could do user add Docker admin, and we need a password for this Docker admin. Any password you want. Okay, so that's successfully created. Then we need to set up an Ansible admin user. So same thing, user add. Again, you can name these users whatever you want. Just don't make it too difficult if this is just a lab environment, because you would most likely just destroy everything after the project is done. Okay, the next thing we need to do is that we need to allow password authentication. By default, when you spin up an EC2 instance, password authentication is disabled on AWS. So because we're using login base, we need to enable this. So that's at /etc/ssh, and then it's going to be this file here. Okay, so let's go ahead and password authentication. Now, depending on your OS, this file here might look a little different, but it's the same. Just go ahead and enable this. Go ahead and save and quit. Okay, so we have our Docker admin and we have our Ansible admin users. So that's done. Now we need to create a directory where we want our Jenkins to build our code and store it into this directory. Now you could tell your Jenkins to, build your code or your project into any directory you want, but I want to do it on the op directory, and we're going to create something called Docker. Okay. So again, you can use whatever you want. We need to give Docker the owner and the group for this directory. This directory we want to give privileges to Docker. That's what I'm trying to say. Okay, so to do that, we need to do chown -r Docker admin. You could use a dot or a semicolon here. Docker admin user and group /opt/docker. Okay, and if we go cd into /opt/docker, you can see here ls-l. Oh, it's ls-l. There you go. So we successfully created a Docker directory, and we gave ownership to Docker admin. All right. Now, if you're using Ubuntu, you need to go into your home directory. So let's go into cd/home. We need to make a directory in our home directory called Ansible admin. We are in the home directory. Make dir/home. Oh, spelling error. Okay, let's clear the screen. We need to go into vi sudo, and there's a specific input that we want to do here. I'm just gonna go ahead and copy this command here. Basically, we are giving Ansible admin privileges similar to root, and what we're gonna do is that we're gonna enable this Ansible user to run sudo privileges without having to input a password. Okay. All right, let's clear that. Now, one thing I forgot to do is in this directory where we created our Ansible admin directory, we need to go back to that cd/home ls Ansible admin. We need to give this directory Ansible admin user and group privileges to Ansible admin. So basically we need to give up its ownership to that user. So we're going to do the same command, chown Ansible admin. You can use a dot here if you want. admin/home/Ansible admin. Okay, and that's good. All right, so I think this is all we need to do for now. We're gonna install Docker onto this machine, but we have a playbook for that, so we're not gonna manually install Docker and download it. So just clear the screen. Let's go ahead and log into our Ansible control machine. Open another git bash here. Okay, let's cd into home downloads, because that's where I have my key. All right, let's clear the screen. Sudo -i. Now, I've already done, I already created the Ansible admin on this machine. I already installed Docker. If I explain how to do all that in this video, it's gonna be long. So let's go ahead and create the Ansible admin. It's gonna be user add Ansible admin. I already created this user, so I'm not gonna press enter. Then you want to create the password for this user, Ansible admin. Go ahead, press enter on that. Okay. I already installed Docker onto this machine, so what we need to do is that we need to add this Ansible admin to the Docker group, which is going to be user mod -ag Docker group user. Go ahead, press enter, and you could confirm that by going to this directory here, and I think it's group. Yeah, it's group. So here's the Docker group, and we added the user to the group. All right, so that's done. Now again, we need to enable password-based authentication. So that's at /etc/sshd config. Go to password authentication and enable that to yes. Go ahead and save and quit. Now sometimes if you run into an SSH issue, sometimes you just have to reload or restart the SSH service. So if you run into an issue, just go ahead and do that. Let's just confirm our user here. Okay, just double check if your user is in the Docker group. All right, now again, we're gonna have Jenkins build into a certain directory, and I'm going to use it on OPT Docker. Cannot create file. Is this all? Yeah, because I already did it. Okay. So we need to give permissions to Ansible admin. So ls cd into / opt ls-l docker. Go ahead and change the ownership to Ansible admin. So that's ch own Ansible admin /opt/ docker. Then go ahead and press enter. And then we also need to cd back to home. So we need to create a directory in home Ansible admin, and go ahead and create that directory, and then give the ownership and permissions to this directory to Ansible admin. So that's the same thing. Ch own Ansible and Ansible admin /home/ and then the directory, which was Ansible admin. Okay, so once you do that, you created both directories, or wherever you wanted to have Jenkins do its build job. Next thing you want to do on this server is go into vi sudo. Make sure you are in root, and go ahead and copy and paste this command into here. Okay. All right. So once that is done, we need to go ahead and add our key onto Docker as a managed node, so we can run our playbooks. So we need to log in, switch user into the user that we created, which was Ansible admin. Okay. We need to go make sure we're at home. Good. And we're gonna ls-la, go to our .ssh file. So that's cd into .sh. Let's do an ls. And here's our keys. You can generate these keys with the ssh keygen command. And once that's done, since I've already did it, I don't need to do it. What you want to do is ssh copy id, and then the IP address of your Docker host. Private IP address. I'll do yes. Permission denied. Okay. I paused the video for a little bit and I went to go fix the issue. The issue was that I was inputting the wrong password in for Ansible admin. So I just recreated the password and just tried again. And that seemed to be the issue. All right, so now we want to go into Jenkins. We want to go into our Jenkins server and configure the publish over SSH plugin. So let's go into our Jenkins server. Let's go ahead and log in. Okay, go to your dashboard, go to manage Jenkins, and to my knowledge, there's a certain time, I don't remember when, but Jenkins basically didn't allow password-based authentication anymore, but there is a plugin that allows us to do that. It is called Publish over SSH. You want to go ahead and download this plugin. Once you do, go back to your dashboard, go to Manage Jenkins, configuration. We'll go ahead and fix that later on another time. Anyways, go to system. Sorry, I was distracted from the error message there. Wait for this to load. All right, so we want to scroll all the way down, and if you install the plugin, you will get this section here. Go ahead and open SSH servers. Type in your Ansible control server, the IP address, and the username you created. Do the same thing for Docker, IP address, and Docker admin. Okay, go ahead, apply and save. After that's done, let's go ahead and go into dashboard again. You'll go ahead and create a new item, go to Maven project, give your name of the project, and then click OK. So I've done it here. Go to workspace. I'm sorry, not workspace. Go to configure. And here we're going to add our Git repository. So just copy and paste your Git repository. After you clone mine, it's public, so you don't need any credentials. Make sure you choose your main branch. And we're going to poll the GitHub for every minute. So that's 5 stars. pom.xml, we're going to do a clean install. And then post build actions, we're going to be deploying our build into our Ansible server. So go ahead and choose your Ansible server. Web app /target star.war. Basically, this is saying in this directory, look for any file that has a .war. Then remove this prefix here because we don't want it. And like I said, I am using the opt docker directory that I created. Make sure you have 2 slashes here. I've been running into issues if you had 1 slash, it's gonna create it in a different directory. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is that we're gonna look into our playbooks.